was never good at games of chance. When I'm playing cards with my buddies, where the money flies right out of my pants. Don't you know I got a little secret? It's the ace of hearts up my sleeve. And when I get home to my honey, she give me love like you wouldn't believe. Yeah, they call me Mr. Lucky, and I thank my stars above. You can call me Mr. Lucky, 'cause I'm lucky in love. When I'm walking through my neighborhood, everybody knows I'm feeling good. See me smiling from my head to my feet. They say, ain't that Mr. Lucky coming down the street? Hey, that's me. I'm Mr. Lucky when you kiss my lips, when you touch me with your fingertips. I'm Mr. Lucky when you hold me tight. I'm Mr. Lucky when you kiss goodnight. Baby, they call me Mr. Lucky, and I thank my stars above. You can call me Mr. Lucky, 'cause I'm lucky in love. Call me Mr. Lucky, and I thank my stars above. You can call me Mr. Lucky, 'cause I'm lucky in love. Call me Mr. Lucky in love. Call me Mr. Lucky in love. You know that's right. Baby, 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 baby.
Hey, everybody, what's going on? What's hot? What's hip? What's happening? What is shaking on your Friday night? You know how I love these Friday shows. I can't get enough of them, yeah. Tonight, let me tell you about Marshall McLuhan. Going to be some real egghead stuff tonight, real intellectual stuff, I'm telling you. But hopefully it won't take too long. And then we can open up the phone lines and have our fun that we have, because we do have some fun around here. I got a couple of things to take care of, some business. We got to take care of a little business. First of all, like, share, subscribe, retweet, all those free things you can do that serve the almighty algorithm. We must serve the almighty algorithm, yes. And also, we do have the Super Chats, and we do have gifted memberships. If you're new here, please, 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 please do what it says on the bottom of the scroll in the screen here. Just a couple seconds, it'll tell you how you can allow gifted memberships, and somebody will just give you a membership to the show. Why is that important? I hear you new people cry out. Well, because things like Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, we will have a members-only watch party. This weekend, we are going to be watching the 1954 film Suddenly, starring Frank Sinatra, about a plot to do away with a very important person. And I'll get into a lot of that. It was the first movie he did after he got his Academy Award for From Here to Eternity for Best Supporting Actor. And he plays a bad guy, a really, really bad guy. So we'll be doing that 1 p.m. Sunday for our members. So there you go. How about that? Got to tell you, SG Fanboy has been doing his magic again, ladies and gentlemen. He has done it again. I'm going to show you what he did last night that I told you I'd show you tonight. It's personally humiliating to me, but I know it will make you laugh, so I'm going to show it. Second thing is, today, in the pre-show times and at lunch, I was watching one of my favorite, I can call it a bad, good movie, but I actually think it's kind of a good movie, but I am personally addicted to it. You may not like it. Eddie and the Cruisers 2. I love this movie. I love it for a variety of reasons. I wish I could show it in one of our members to watch parties, but it's copyrighted and stuff. So here, let me make you all happy. We did a show last night on bras. I told you all about the history and the entomology of bras. Well, SG Fanboy chose to put me on Patty Page's body with her bullet cup brassiere. Get it out of your system. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'll wait. I'll wait. I know it's, it's of great comedic value to you, the viewer. So that's why I show that. People saying hi. We do have the most cheerful chat room on the internet, as verified by independent sources. SG Fanboy is here. He says, happy Friday, everybody. And because he saw that tonight's episode was about Marshall McLuhan, he was kind enough to put my face on the body of renowned media theorist and brilliant genius Marshall McLuhan. So there you go. You'll see more pictures of Marshall a little later. I'll just leave that up because it gets the picture of me in a bra off the screen. Rumpled Trenchcoat is here saying hi. People saying hi. Terry Nee is here. Hello, Terry. Fun show. Thank you. People saying hi. People saying hi. SG said, I think I would. Really? Would you? Would you? Really? Would you? Let's put this back here. Jokerfish. What? The chat's moving too fast. Jokerfish is here. Karen Garvey is laughing. People saying hi. People saying hi. People saying hi. And of course, I do look good in that bra. Well, I have no way of knowing because I've not ever seen myself in any other bra. So right now, I guess it's by simple default, the leader at the clubhouse. Karen Garvey is asking Rumpled if he's on Replayables tonight. I should mention that. Yes, Replayables on in 56 minutes and 30 seconds. We'll be out of here by then, so you guys can all go watch Replayables on the Levyverse network. Fishman is here. By the way, Killing It with the Ables was incredible last night. It was really good. It was actually about a subject that I was going to cover, and I told you guys I was going to cover it, but I don't know that I even should now that it'll be a while because they covered it really well last night. Fishman says hello, and Rumpled Trenchcoat will be on Replayables tonight. Yes, immediate appearance by the legendary Rumpled Trenchcoat. And if you get a chance, it's here on YouTube. Check out Rumpled Trenchcoat, a Columbo podcast. You will not see, sadly, Galumbo. That is so awesome. But you will see Columbo on that show. Yay! Killing It with the Ables was great. It gave me the chills, and I think that's what it's supposed to do. I think it's pretty much what it's supposed to do. Why don't we? I've only got 30 seconds. I always wait 5 minutes, but what's 30 seconds? Who cares about 30 seconds? I might as well open up my thing. I got to tell you, Eddie and the Cruisers 2, I just can't get enough of it. It's so over dramatically good bad that and the music is killer. The music's really good, but it's just so over the top. I love it. So let's go ahead and let's get my man. I'm going to show you a couple pictures here real quick. That's a younger Marshall McLuhan. Okay, this is Marshall McLuhan when he was studying at Cambridge. But this and the picture actually that SG showed is more in keeping with Marshall McLuhan when he became super famous during the 60s and 70s because of his views on how media affects us. And I'm a huge disciple of his. I've been to his carriage house at the University of Toronto. I'm a major devotee of Marshall McLuhan. And one of his big sayings, you may have heard it in your lifetime, is the medium is the message. And he was the first person to kind of analyze each of the media that affects us, at the time, newspapers, radio, television, movies, and examine how the messages for each medium were delivered to us and how that affected us, how we took that in, what that was good for, what it wasn't good for, and things of that nature. So that's why I love him. I'm going to leave this picture up because this is my Marshall McLuhan right there. He's Canadian, was born in 1911. He died in 1980, and he was a sort of a philosopher and media theorist whose work is one of the major cornerstones of the study of media theory. As I mentioned, first he went to the University of Manitoba, because he's Canadian, and the University of Cambridge. And he started as an English professor at several universities in the US and Canada before moving to the University of Toronto in 1946, where he was for the rest of his life. He is known as the father of media studies. As I mentioned, he coined the expression, the medium is the message. If you're a reader, if you're a person that likes to read books, you can read his, but be advised they are not light reads. You're going to have to read a sentence, think about it, and move on to the next sentence. But one of his big ground-shaking works was Understanding Media, the Extensions of Man. And in the very first chapter of that book, he coined the term the global village. Never had been used before. He's the one that did it. He predicted the World Wide Web almost 30 years before it was invented. He was a fixture in media discourse in the late 60s and throughout sort of the early to mid 70s. In years to follow, he was a revered yet sometimes controversial figure in academic circles. However, once the World Wide Web and the internet came out, his work was renewed, and there's been a lot more of, sort of worship of Marshall McLuhan. If any of you have seen the movie, the Academy Award winning for Best Picture movie, Annie Hall, there's a moment in that movie where there's Woody Allen and Diane Keaton are standing in line at a film, and this very overly intellectual, kind of ridiculous character is in front of Woody Allen, and he's spouting all of his theories about this and that, and he starts mentioning Marshall McLuhan. And Woody Allen's like, yeah, Marshall McLuhan, like this guy knows anything about Marshall McLuhan. He goes, look, do you know, you're not really, you don't know a thing about Marshall McLuhan. And this guy goes, well, actually, I'm a professor at Columbia University in media theory, and I think my views are very pertinent. Yeah, well, I just happen to have Marshall McLuhan right here. And he pulls Marshall McLuhan out from like a poster or something at the movie theater. And Marshall McLuhan goes, actually, you know nothing of my theory. How you got to be a teacher of anything at all is a mystery to me. And Woody Allen turns to the camera and goes, wouldn't it be great if life was really like this? So there's your little thing that you might have seen Marshall McLuhan on, unless you're a freak like me. I mean, I have CDs with Marshall McLuhan speeches on them, and I'm a big Marshall McLuhan guy. So at any rate, he was born in Edmonton, Alberta, and named Marshall due to a maternal grandmother's brother. His parents were also Canadian. When business failed at the start of World War I, McLuhan's father enlisted in the Canadian Army, and they moved to Winnipeg, where he grew up and went to school. And, he was going to study engineering, but he got a Bachelor of Arts, winning a university gold medal in arts and sciences. He went to get a Master of Arts degree in English from the university as well. And then he went and he studied in England at Cambridge. And although he already had a BA and an MA, Cambridge required him to enroll as an unaffiliated undergraduate student. And So he went there and ended up getting his degree and entered their graduate program. He couldn't find a suitable job in Canada. So he went to the United States and got a job as a teaching assistant at the University of Wisconsin in Madison, the big one. And then he taught for about 7 years English at St. Louis University. He taught courses on Shakespeare, and, he met a woman in St. Louis, an actress, aspiring actress from Fort Worth, that he married in 1939. He taught at Assumption College in Windsor and then moved to Toronto and taught at St. Michael's Catholic College of the University of Toronto, and then went to the University of Toronto where he taught for the rest of his life. In the early 50s, he began the Communications and Culture seminars at the University of Toronto, founded by the Ford Foundation, and he started to get this huge reputation, offers from other universities, and he published his first major work in 1951 called The Mechanical Bride. And that's where he examined the effects of advertising on society and culture. And, went on to get all sorts of other recognitions, the Order of Canada, chairs at various universities. He suffered a stroke in 1979, which affected his ability to speak, which is just tragic. They tried to close his graduate studies school at the University of Toronto, but there were so many protests that they couldn't. He never fully recovered from that stroke, and he died on the very last day of December in 1980. Now, he wrote The Mechanical Bride in 1951, and he analyzes the examples of persuasion in contemporary popular culture. And the medium is the message. Didn't happen until later, but, it's 59 short essays, The Mechanical Bride. They may be read in any order. They're not sequential. And there were a lot of people in corporations that started reading this book, people in advertising and corporate communications, because in the book, he points out things that advertising is good at and things that advertising is not good at. And he gives examples throughout the book of popular mass culture, ads, newspaper articles, photographs. And he analyzes them in a way that sort of deconstructs their processes, okay, and the meaning of each element of the process. So his next book in 1962 is called The Gutenberg Galaxy, and this is another extremely important book. His history, okay, of communications technology, starting with alphabetic writing, the writing of the alphabet, then to the printing press, and then to movable type, and then to the electronic media and how they affect cognitive organization, the way your brain processes things, is really important. I'm going to read a paragraph here. It's really just 2 sentences. If a new technology extends one or more of our senses outside us into the social world, then new ratios among all of our senses will occur in that particular culture. So what that means is, if, say, radio extends our sense of speech and hearing, then examples of that extension of our senses will start occurring in that culture. It's comparable to what happens when a new note is added to a melody. And when the sense ratios alter in any culture, then what happened and had appeared to be loosened before may suddenly become vague, or you can see through it. In other words, it's not as meaningful as it was because it is an extension of a sense. It's now less mystifying than the original thing, which is us talking to each other. When you heard it on the radio, you're like, oh, that's a radio. These people are saying things for a certain reason. It's not as mysterious. Movable type. This book takes you from pre-alphabetic tribal sort of communications to the electronic age. The invention of movable type, that is printing presses and things that you can take type and move it around and make words and stuff. McLuhan says that greatly accelerated, intensifies, and ultimately enabled cultural and cognitive changes that had already begun taking place since the implementation of the alphabet. So when people began to get the ability to print in mass quantities, that hyper accelerated your ability to write a letter or any of those other things, which seems somewhat obvious, I guess. The main concept of this book is that new technologies exert a huge effect. He called it a gravitational effect in understanding. And that, in mass communication, affects social organization. Okay? So, print technology, newspapers, books, changed our way of perceiving the world. Rather than talking to a neighbor, hearing the news from somebody down the street, a mass broadcast of information actually reorganizes a society because so many new thoughts are being injected to it on a mass scale. All right. And from there sprang his concept of the global village. I'm sorry, I know this is real eggheady stuff, but it's Friday. Friday shows are shows that I kind of do because I know they're not going to be as popular as a bra. In the early 1960s, he wrote that the visual, individualistic print culture would soon be brought to an end by what he called electronic independence, where electronic media replaces visual culture, that is reading, okay, with an oral audio culture, a hearing culture, and a seeing culture. In the new age, humankind would move from individualism and fragmentation, individual people with individual thoughts and beliefs, to a collective identity, a global village, a tribal base. And that's where he coined the phrase, because of the fact that rather than reading things and interpreting on your own, everyone would be getting these messages that they could see and hear. So there was no processing there. It is a much hotter medium. And he gets into hot and cool mediums too. So it's a lot of people attach value judgments to a lot of his findings, and he goes, "There's no value judgment here. It's just what's happening." Here's a quote from McLuhan. "Instead of tending toward a vast Alexandrian library, the world has become a computer, an electronic brain, exactly as an infantile piece of science fiction. And as our senses have gone outside us, speech, hearing, all of our senses, perception, Big Brother goes inside because Big Brother is disseminating the messages through the mass media. So unless aware of this dynamic, we shall at once move into a phase of panic terrors, exactly befitting a small world of tribal drums, total independence, and superimposed coexistence. Terror is the normal state of any oral society, for in it everything affects everything all of the time. In our long striving to recover for the Western world a unity of sensibility and of thought and feeling, we have no more been prepared to accept the tribal consequences of the media than we were ready for the fragmentation of the human psyche by print culture." So, sort of the key to that argument is the idea that technology has no per se morality. It's a tool that extremely shapes an individual's, and by that extension, a society's self-conception and self-realization. The media defines how we see ourselves. So there you go. Like I said, eggheady stuff. Understanding Media, The Extensions of Man was written in 1964, and it is a major, major, major work. If I had to recommend, and my copy of it was bought in the library of his carriage house, right at the source, where he did this work. It's a carriage house. It's not big. That's where his office was. Let me just get into hot and cool media, because that's an interesting concept that may not bore you to death. Different medias invite different degrees of participation on the part of a person who chooses to consume that medium. And I'll make it real simple for you. When you listen to the radio, you are participating. An old radio drama or even comedy, you have to imagine things in your head that are happening. You are participating heavily in that particular piece of communication. You are interacting with it. You're conjuring up things in your own head. If you listen to an episode of The Shadow, you see the shadow and you see the bad guy, and you play that out in your head, but your brain is doing a lot of that work. On television, there's almost no participation required. You see and hear everything. It's explicit. So he argues that a cool medium requires increased involvement due to decreased description. The less description, right? You have to fill in the blanks. While a hot medium is the opposite. Very little involvement, very little, need to fill in the blanks. In other words, a society that appears to be actively participating in streaming content does not consider the effects of that tool very much, and they are not recognized that is an extension of themselves. A movie is said to be high definition, demanding a viewer's attention, and a comic book low definition, requiring much more conscious participation by the reader to get the value out of it. Any hot medium allows less participation than a cool one, as a lecture makes for less participation than a seminar, and a book for less than a dialogue. So some medium, like movies, are hot. That is, they enhance a single sense, in this case vision, in a manner that a person does not need to exert any effort at all to perceive the detailed moving images that have been served up to you. Hot media usually, but not always, provides complete involvement with considerable stimulus. It's all there for you. It's stimulating you in many ways. In contrast, a cool print medium may occupy the visual space because you're reading it using your visual senses, but it requires focus, and it requires comprehension, and it requires thought to make those ideas or descriptions or even words spoke by characters come to life. Hot media favor analytical precision, quantitative analysis, and sequential ordering. They're usually sequential, linear, logical. They emphasize one sense, sight or sound, over the others. And hot media is film, radio, photography. And so he contrasts hot medium with cool medium, specifically television, TV in the 60s, small black and white screens, which he claims requires more effort from the viewer to determine meaning than a movie, which would be in color. A black and white, you even have to do the work for the color. And comics, which due to their minimal presentation of visual detail, require a high degree of effort to fill in the details that the cartoonist may have intended to portray. Cool media are usually, but not always, those that provide little involvement with substantial stimulus. They require more active participation on the part of the user, and jazz, popular music. They're detached. So there you go. Let me see what else I can say about him that might interest you. He did a book, an entire book called "The Medium is the Message," and that is kind of his overriding emphasis in all of his works. The kind of medium that you're interacting with is part of the message. Now, people misquote it because he actually said the medium is the massage, which is the way that it massages you, the way it manipulates you, okay? And he coined the other phrase much earlier. He actually wrote this book in conjunction with a guy named Quentin Fiore, who's a prominent graphic designer. And if you get the book, it's actually very interesting to read because it's extremely pop art and one concept at a time. So he also said that in this book that we view the world through a rear view mirror, that we're constantly looking 20 years back. And when you think about it, in the 70s, the most popular TV show, or one of them, was Happy Days, a show about the 50s. In the 80s, we had all these shows about the 60s, like China Beach and all the Vietnam type, Apocalypse Now, all of that stuff. In the 90s, we went back to the 70s. It's the rear view mirror that we as a culture view our current modern lifestyles. And so there you go. He says the past went that away. When faced with a totally new situation, we always tend to attach ourselves to objects, to the flavor of the most recent past. We look at the present through a rear view mirror. We march backward into the future. Suburbia lives imaginatively in Bonanza land. And he said this when Bonanza had been on the air for quite some time. And an audio recording of this, by the way, exists, and it's absolutely fabulous. I have it. It's not just his discourse, but there's a panel discussion and everything else. He wrote another book called War and Peace in the Global Village that kind of studied war. He wrote another book in 1970 called From Cliche to Archetype. And he looks at verbal cliches, turns of phrase, figures of speech, and of the archetype, which is things that pertain to behavior, historical psychology, and literary analysis. So he takes basically our cliches and examines where they came from, how they became that way, and etc. He wrote The Global Village, which came out after he died. He collaborated with someone else, and he basically provided a framework for understanding the cultural implication of technological advances associated with the rise worldwide electronic network. And he gets into things like acoustic space and the Shannon Weaver model and things of that nature that you really don't want to hear about. But this is when he actually predicted and analyzed the World Wide Web. So, and in this book, he very much included an analysis of how that type of communication, the communication that you're actually experiencing right now through a worldwide electronic network, affects your left brain and your right brain. So there you go. He received an astounding amount of publicity after understanding media, making him perhaps the most publicized 20th century English teacher and arguably the most controversial. A bunch of, advertising people began trying to find McLuhan disciples to use in their ad agencies to make better ads, to make them more effective. And there were two guys in California, Howard Gossage and Gerard Fagan, who really went nuts with this. They had a McLuhan festival in the offices of one of their ad agencies in San Francisco, and ad executives, members of the mayor's offices, editors from the San Francisco Chronicle, Tom Wolfe, the famous writer, was there. Tons of people got together and tried to figure out, what was going on. McLuhan was credited also with coining the phrase, turn on, tune in, drop out. And Timothy Leary, the guy that made that phrase popular, said, no, Marshall McLuhan said that. That wasn't me. He said Leary said the slogan was given to him by McLuhan during a lunch in New York City. And McLuhan was very much interested in ideas and marketing. And so there you go. I mentioned popular culture. Woody Allen's award-winning Annie Hall. McLuhan suddenly appears and silences this pompous academic by saying, "You know nothing of my work." So in 1991, McLuhan was named the patron saint of Wired magazine, and a quote of his appeared on the masthead for the first 10 years of its publication. He's mentioned in a Peter Gabriel song, Broadway Melody of 1974. He's jokingly referred to in an episode of The Sopranos. So anyway, that's it about Marshall McLuhan. Thank you for listening to me. I'm a freak about it, and you've been very kind to listen to me gush about my hero, Marshall McLuhan. And believe it or not, I actually do study these things. And believe it or not, I actually do practice many, many, many precepts of Marshall McLuhan in the work that I do, which is communications work. So anyway, this kind of stuff is the kind of stuff that makes people walk away from me at parties. It's one of the many things, really, that makes me do it. I'm going to keep this picture up because Marshall was also a great smoker of cigarettes. Let's see here. Joker says Eddie lives. Yeah, I love them. So and so on drums, so and so on keyboards and bass, blah, blah, blah. And me, I'm Eddie Wilson. Silence. And then the crowd starts going, Eddie, Eddie, Eddie. The extremely generous and quite talented Rumpled Trenchcoat has generously gifted a Tom Gully Show membership. I have to tell you, if you are in our Twitter audience, we love you, Twitter. We really do love you. But if you come into the chat room here, not only can you be part of the chat, but you can also get a membership for free, and then you can be part of our watch party on YouTube, 1 p.m. Saturday, when we will this week be watching the 1954 film noir classic Suddenly, starring Sterling Hayden and Frank Sinatra, fresh off of his Academy Award-winning role in From Here to Eternity as Maggio. Reverend Wild Bill says, I have the movie The Warriors queued up to watch tonight. Warriors, come out to play. Although my favorite line from that movie is, can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Anyway. And in the old days, when I used to have sound drops all through the show, that was one of my sound drops. It's one of my big sound drops. Okay. Aku says, I miss the days when a man with 3 clocks behind him just told you what happened that day rather than spun reality. Yeah, that's right. Blame Canada. Coined the frame. Or maybe phrase. John Ziermites, how you doing? I'm never going to not love that screen name. Love me a typewriter. Typewriters were great. I framed a few coins, if you know what I'm saying. I know what you're saying when you're saying what you're saying. Gilman said, I am loving it, and the crowd are loving it. I got to go to the grocery store early tomorrow morning. I'm thinking the strawberries and cream zero from Dr. Pepper will be on the list again. Aku says, a pox on those whom birth the bra. I say that's a lady's choice, but whatever. This is how Gully has brainwashed us into endless mug consumers. Fishman, that's funny. Fishman, brother, turn on your gifted memberships, man. Get yourself a membership. Terry Nee says, to educate means to produce immunity against the television. That is absolutely profound and quite accurate. And you guys have to remember that in the late 50s and especially during the 60s, there was a lot of analysis of how television was affecting the culture. That's why they called it the boob tube. They felt it was a brainless medium, and there was a lot of junk on it. So my good friend Jared, happy to be here, Jared, says, buy print media. You're doggone right. Don't you sell print media? Rumple Trenchcoats, that was a great scene in Annie Hall. It really was. It really was. SG Fanboy says, what's the watch going to be this weekend? It will be Suddenly, black and white, 1954, which is supposedly public domain. And I watched it today, and it's one of my favorites. And there's very little music in it. So hopefully if there's a music problem, it won't affect us too much. Bring up yesterday's photo. You mean this? I didn't know any of that. Thanks for sharing, Tom. Well, it's a lot to share. Doc Dorn says, happy to be here late in the friendliest and most cheerful chat. The most cheerful chat room on the internet, as verified by independent sources. By the way, like, share, subscribe, retweet, do all those freebie things. We'd love you for it. Where super chats are open. But please turn on the gifted memberships. You know, we've got people like our good friend Toby McGroby and Rumple Trenchcoat who are just giving out free memberships. So if you've got that turned on, JC and others, Fishman, you get a free membership. And that means that you can watch our members-only show Sunday, 1 p.m., when we will together watch. We watched Night of the Living Dead last week, and this week we're going to watch Suddenly. So you are. JC said, you should get a stream deck for Sound Drop. I should do a lot of things, JC. I really should. I should get a new computer, which I'm going to do. Liz is here. Tom Gully in chat. Hello. Liz and Chris last night did an incredible job with Albert Fish on Killing It with the Ables. We talked about Albert Fish here. I was going to do a show on him. I'm not going to do one now for at least a year because they did such a great job last night. And it's just a great show, Killing It with the Ables. But another great show is coming up in 2 and 40. So 22 minutes and 40 seconds, you will be able to watch the replayables on the Levyverse network. People saying hi to homie. People saying hi because, we have the most cheerful chat room on the internet. It's a verified by independent source. I sell print media. Yeah. Well, you got a little skin in the game there. But print media rocks. People saying hi. People saying hi. Rumpled, have fun tonight. I'll be watching. Yes, Rumpled Trenchcoat will be on Replayables, so please go support him. Eyeballs and Knives. Yes, we can't do with either one of those things. Rumpled Trenchcoat said, did you ever see Mirage, a great film noir with Gregory Peck and Walter Matthau? It's public domain from 1956. Would be a great fun one to add to the list. I will add it to the list. We are the Knights Who Say Knee. I don't know where that came from, but by the way, the phone lines are open at 972-994-6822. And we got about 20 minutes left in the show. It's been a long week, folks. Had a great Friday today, professionally. And, you can't beat that. Oh, also for lunch today, there's a barbecue restaurant about not even a half mile from me. It's really close to where I live. And I always say to myself when I'm on my walks, I'm going to check that place out. Today, on my way back on my walk, I went, I'm checking that place out. This is Wild Bill. It's anonymous. Oh, boy. There we go. I checked it out, and I bought a half a pound of brisket and ate the whole thing. I'm in heaven. I usually don't take anonymous callers, but I'm going to take your call. Hi, welcome to the Tom Gully Show. You're on the air.
Oh, good. It's Jared. What's up, man? It's Jared.
Hello, Jared. How are you doing? That's JC in the chat room.
JC, happy to be here, Tom.
I'm happy to be here as well, and I'm happy that you're here. How are you doing?
Good. I wish I missed the beginning of the show. I got to go back and watch it, but I just wanted to say hi, and I will join the membership once. I'm a boomer. I don't know how to use computers for some reason. I can't join.
Just read the thing at the bottom of the crawl.
Bottom. What's the crawl?
The crawl is the type that's moving across the bottom of the screen right now.
Oh, okay.
So hold on. It's like as I'm looking at it, yours may be delayed because I don't know if this is live.
Is
go
this
to
live, by the way?
I don't know. I think you would know better than I.
All right.
YouTube.com/@TomGullyShow/allow_gifts. And if you go to that web page, there'll be a thing there that says allow gifted memberships. And if you turn it on before the show ends, there are gifted memberships out there that haven't been claimed, and so you will get one.
Okay.
You'll get
I'm
one
gonna do
for
that.
free.
I'm going to do that.
You'll get one for free, yeah. And Jared is a very, very important member of the Pod Awful cult. So
This is true. This
I
is
would
true.
say watch Pod Awful. It's a very interesting show. And
Podawful.pizza. Podawful.pizza.
and it's also
Great show.
on YouTube at Pod Awful Ephemera Obscura.
Yep,
So check that
There's
out.
He's got 3 other channels too, but I don't know what they're called. But they're just in cases. Yeah.
Let's baby bird them at first, just a little at first, just a little. Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. You're right.
What are your weekend plans, Jared?
Tomorrow I'm gonna go shooting. Sunday dinner with the parents. Tonight I'm just waiting outside right now to get picked up. I'm not sure what we're doing tonight, but probably get some food or whatever. Yeah.
Well, I'll let you go. Sign up for that Allow Gifted memberships, and then you can join us on Sunday at 1 o'clock if you want to for the live watch party for the Frank Sinatra movie.
I will be there, and I will be happy to be there, Tom.
I'm happy to be there too.
All right, brother. You have a good show.
Man.
Great show so far. I'm going to go back and watch the beginning what I missed.
All
Love you,
right.
man.
Hey, love you. I'm so happy that you called.
Hell yeah, brother.
All
Talk
right.
to you soon, man.
All right. Bye-bye.
Ciao.
That's Jared. He's a good man. He's a doggone good man. He's a good man. Let's see. People will be watching. Here we go. That Killing It with Abel's thing had my legs crossed a couple lot. It had me hiding all the pins in my house. Homie. Oh, people saying hi. Yeah, people saying hi. Liz, Monty Python. Well, I know it's from Monty Python. I just didn't know if I said anything that triggered that. I think this is the night that the Reverend goes and gets his white pizza, his fettuccine, his Alfredo chicken pizza or whatever. Rumpel says, my teeth and my entire body were clenched. And she did her hair herself for Chris's birthday, which is classy. When your best gal does that, it's classy. I can't look at that anymore. I'm sorry. I've got to take it up. Oh, here's trouble. Hi, and welcome to the Tom Gully Show. You're on the air.
Yeah, you sounded so excited when you figured out that anonymous call wasn't Wild Bill that I thought I just had to call just to make your day a little bit brighter, buddy.
Hey, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I know you're thrilled. Yeah.
I do appreciate it. Hey, is this the night that you get your chicken Alfredo pizza?
Well, it's chicken chicken spinach Alfredo pizza, right? Greek pizza. But believe it or not, I ain't had one of those in probably I ain't had one of those since COVID.
I thought you had a certain night of the week that you got. Oh, wait, whoa, I forgot. Oh. Didn't you have an altercation there?
Yes, I did.
I remember.
That was at New York, so-and-so's New York style pizza. I ain't gonna give their name because I'm against them now, but I did find yeah. They me and the owner. Yeah, the owner. He I put it like this. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. He got me all choked up talking about it.
Yeah.
When a person tells me one thing, and then they go back and they tell me that they never said that and that they never would have said that, and I call them on it, and then they call me a liar. Oh, that don't sit right.
Yeah.
Not at all. So I figured my money would spend better at other places. So I just, said, okay, fine, no problem. And hold on, wait, Wild Bill strikes me as a man who has a spit too. I could guess what I do, and it's one from back in the early 30s. It's Indian Head.
It's a Cuspidor.
Indian Head tobacco.
I call it a
You what?
I call it a cuspidor, but
Cuspidor, spittoon, right? Same thing.
I also-
Right. Well, I've got a story about one of those too.
Aku says, going by that photo, Tom could cut a window pane on a cold day. I guess I know which photo he was talking about. Aku, sharper than Reese Witherspoon Yoon's chin. Great call. Aku says, Tom, after the show, someone used AI to have Frank Sinatra sing Careless Whispers. It's actually good. That sounds funny. Troll alert. Yeah, I put Wesley in timeout. He's not banned, but he is in timeout. And if he comes back and pulls some more nonsense, then of course he'll just be banned forever. Let's see, Wesley Curry, you're so cool. Yeah, oh boy, I love it when you guys handle the trolls. But it would be classy. It's very classy to do your hair like that. That's not a dig, Bill. I'm rather jealous, says Aku. We got, homie, don't play that. Thank you so much. Very, very generous. Tom, Chris, and I are big fans of yours. Thank you for your support as well. I love your charm. Best gal. Yeah, you're steady gal. You got to have a steady gal. So, I do recall.
I was going to say, but as I was saying, after that little altercation, I did find me a nice little Greek restaurant.
Yeah.
But you know what? I guess he's trying to figure out a way to save up money so he can trade in that rowboat to get him a gas-powered boat to go back to Greece. Because I tell you what, he'd be proud of his pizzas.
Yeah.
I tell you what, yeah. I mean, I even told him that too. It's like, just a little bit more dough and a little bit less of my dough, we could come up with a good pizza. But I said, anyways, long story short. But the thing was, I just really wanted to call tonight so that I could deflate your balloon just a little bit after you got so excited finding out that JC was not me.
No, I just
because I heard it when that was
no, it was because it was because it came up as anonymous, and I normally don't take anonymous calls, so I was like,
right.
What am I supposed to do?
But what would make you think it was Wild Bill? That's what I'm talking about. I heard it in your tone, son.
No, if I said if this is
it's like, oh God,
no. I said if this is Wild Bill, and that's when I saw it was anonymous, and that's what made the tone different because I don't like to.
That's true.
But
and you don't usually when it comes across anonymous, you won't touch it.
Yeah.
Usually you don't. You've only done that, I think, maybe once or twice before.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I know once for sure. Maybe twice.
Yeah. Well, I'm a little more liberal than I used to be about taking those phone calls, but
you're in the wrong state for that. See, that's some of that Utah rubbing off on you.
No, Utah's super. No, Utah's super conservative.
So is
super
Texas.
Conservative. So is Texas. But the word liberal, was around a long time before people started trying to make it an evil thing for politics. So
I know, because I call myself a libertarian because I'm not trying to get into politics, but I consider myself a libertarian because I like the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
I mean, I admit the Republicans, the right wing, they got some good politics. The left wing's got some pretty good politics. But like I was always taught, no matter.
The same bird?
There he goes. That's it.
Yeah.
No matter whether it's the right wing or the left wing, they both come from the same bird.
Okay. Well, so.
But on that note, I tell you what,
okay.
I'm going to run. Hey, Wolf, by the way, I'm going to run. I'm going to let you have it back. I just had to do it, and I'll talk to you later.
All right, man. You have a good weekend.
You too, sir. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. The Reverend Wild Bill. And we have about 10 minutes and 35 seconds until we have to go for replayables. Speaking of which, Rumpled Trenchcoat will be on replayables. And he was kind enough to super chat us $5, which is super nice and super generous. And all I have to say about that is, well, my boss, he loves it when you super chat. But there's just one thing I want to ask. As much as I hate to go, I really should get ready for the replayables. Have a great night and catch you next time. Thank you, Rumpled Trenchcoat. You are a gentleman and a scholar. And check out Rumpled Trenchcoat, a Columbo podcast. They're really good. He and his sister do them, and they're very, very good. Aku says, I recently found out the tradition of birthday candles came from the Greeks. The smoke rising was to take the wish to Anubis. I did not know that. Rockin' Rev says the wolf. The wolf. Have fun tonight, Rumpled. Yes, Rumpled. Please have fun tonight. Thank you, Karen Garvey. I'm stealing that saying, Rev. Go ahead. Apologies for the messed up comment. Don't worry, Doc Torn. It's okay. I didn't even notice it was messed up. Aku says, I prefer the old Irish drinking proverb, a bird doesn't fly with just one wing, you need two. The wolf says, where's the bullet bra picture? You guys just love torturing me. And especially the wolf. The wolf has always enjoyed torturing me. Where's there it is. Enjoy that. I'll leave it up for a little while. You guys got to get your full measure of jollies out of this. The wolf is... Oh, God. You got to tell that story sometime, and then everybody else can enjoy the phrase. You know, in the days of the Greeks and the Romans, it was just considered good manners. And then everybody will know it. June Cleaver. Well, pretty close. Terry Nee says, that's a sturdy broad. That's a sturdy gal. Can I? I'm going to go this way a little bit. I don't know. Oh, let's see here. I have a copy of that pic saved in my archives. So do I, unfortunately. TID. That bullet bra pic. That was very well done. Well, SG Fanboy is a god. Tom turns too quickly. He'll take an eye out. You'll put your eye out, kid. You'll put your eye out. I'm going to try and watch the beginning of Replayables. I got to say, though, I am beat. Friday night comes along, and old Tom is pretty darn turd, as they would say on Killing It with the Ables. I'm pretty darn turd. Let's see what we got going on here. We had a pretty good attendance. We got 13 people on Twitter. Twitter, we love you, Twitter. I wish we could, Twitter would allow us to take your comments, and then you could chat back and forth, and it would be awesome. But if you ever do get the urge, come on over to YouTube and, get yourself a free Google account. Come on in here and maybe get a free membership. You never know. The wolf says she is sturdy, almost as sturdy as the Gringo Giant. Well, the Gringo Giant is not as powerful as the wolf, but has amazing, almost impossible to knock over during a soccer match. I don't recall it ever happening. I remember hitting the turf on purpose to, somebody fouled me to get the free kick. But the Reverend Wild Bill says, I have it saved right next to the other pics and video we both have and love. Yes, I was going through my files just last night, Reverend, and I ran across the photo that gentleman sent us that knew the gal. I know you know what I'm talking about. Aku says, just remember on Replayables, if they say I sent in the clip, it likely won't end well. The wolf says, he is explosive. I'm explosive. I have quick feet. I'm wiry, athletic. And a crowd favorite. Well, I'm not as nearly the crowd favorite that the wolf is. Double barrels. Okay, I'm taking it down and I'm putting Marshall McLuhan back. You guys have had enough fun. I think I've been very, very, good-natured about the whole thing. I'm sure I'll put it up again sometime for your amusement. Toby McGrovey says, I'm staying at least until the first pee-pee dance llama song. I will try to do that. I really will. But right after this, on Replayables, yeah, I know what you mean. After this, I have to reboot the computer, and then I have to, by the way, I don't have time for any other calls, so I'm closing the phone lines. I have to reboot the computer and move my microphone and do a whole bunch of things. And then I go into the Replayables for as long as I can, but I'm usually about to fall asleep. I know. I'm old. Put the Galumbo pick up. That's a better. Okay. Nothing if not accommodating. The Reverend says, SG, put Tom on a Betty Page photo. I have an unusual association with Betty Page. Betty Page's chief sort of biographer and person was a guy named Greg Theakston, who was a very, very, very close friend of mine before he passed away. And that's my association. And if you go back into the TomGullyShow.com podcasts, there's several with Greg Theakston on them, and one of them is dedicated to his relationship to Betty Page. So there you go. Absolutely awesome. I like my delicate back, too. I'm in lust with Betty. Yes, well, Betty. There's a couple of good documentaries about Betty Page that are free to watch. One's called, what is it called? I can't remember. Betty, the worst dancer ever. Well, maybe. She wasn't that great. SG Fanboy says, gotcha, Rev. What was that Betty Page documentary called? Let me see here if I can pop it up real quick, because I've only got a couple minutes left. I think it's called The Notorious Betty Page or something like that. I don't know. Let's see. Page. One of them is in her own words. It's from things that she said. I think there's two of them. Betty Page Reveals All is one of them. And, Betty Page Reveals All. I thought there was another one called, and there's another one called The Notorious Betty Page. So I recommend both of those extremely highly. You know what? We ought to do Betty Page next week. I think Tuesday night we'll do Betty Page. How about that? And also, we'll probably do Suddenly on Monday. I think probably we'll do the movie, show about the movie that we watch in the members only show Sunday. We'll do that movie on Monday. Gotcha, Rev. I would prefer to be on Eddie Vincent but only from Eddie and the Cruisers 2, when he was Joe West, but he was really Eddie. That was the name he came up with to pretend he wasn't Eddie Vincent, but that's the one I would request. But I'm always pleased to see you understand everyone's references, Tom. We rarely have to explain our puns and lines after the fact. I don't know that that's true, but I try. The Wolf says, I was going to send you one on her a few days ago, The Notorious Betty Page. That's a good one, but Betty Page Reveals All is one where you don't see her speaking on screen, but she's narrating it from interviews and stuff. It's really good. Bombshell? She was a fetching lass, and she was known as a pinup girl back then, and a girl that was in these, what they called nudie cuties movies, like Teaserama and things like that. Please do Betty, sir. I will do that on Tuesday of next week. Betty Page Memories. I may not have pronounced that correctly. Suddenly, The Notorious Betty Page. I think Tom would look good as Dr. Frankenfurter from Rocky Horror Picture Show. We'll do Rocky Horror in October. I love Liam Neeson in Naked Gun. A serious actor in a comedy film was perfect for him. Well, he did some of that in the Ted movies, too. I think Ted 2, I don't know if he did in the first Ted movie, but I know in Ted 2 he did a great one. How about both? I don't know what you mean by both, but SG, I'm not going to bridle you with that. Oh my God, I've got 25 seconds. Hey, it's been a great week. You guys have been awesome. Thank you so much to Rumpled Trenchcoat, Toby McGroby, and Homie Don't Play That for their generous membership gifts and super chats. And now you got to go to Replayables. Go to Replayables. Get out of here. Go to Replayables. And the only thing left for me to say at this point is the medium is the message. And until next time, we'll see you next time.